What's up, everybody? Back again, Warp Charge Gaming, and it is good to see you for episode 7 of the Infinity Talk Show. I'm George, and this is Brad, and that's Zach, and that's Chris, and we are a good amount of what exists of the RVA Infinity players. There's a few more of us, and I hope to be many more. I love this game, and I look forward to actually playing it more regularly in person and in the ways that we used to. Hopefully that's not far off. We've had a new year come. Apparently there's vaccines out there, and that's good. Not a subject I want to go too crazy on, but I'm happy about it. Yeah, we've been playing games, and that's what we talk about on this show is the games that we play. And Infinity, the wonderful game that Corvus Belli provides us. We're in the 4th edition that came out not long ago. For those that don't know, that might be randomly tuning in for the first time to episode 7 of the Infinity Talk Show. Not a ton on the docket tonight, as there has been, the last couple weeks have been a blur of things that have happened that are not Infinity related, but we're going to bullshit about whatever we feel like, and I hope that people enjoy the conversation. Please, if you're out there, feel free to join us and say what you like. So gentlemen, that we were starting off just a moment ago talking about how in Infinity, what do you think about, how often have you in your time decided that you should go second after deploying first? You're like, damn it, my whole list, my plan is built around second, but they won that whip roll and they're forcing you to deploy first. When you have chose, I'm sure we've all chose to go second and deploy first at some point. Has it worked?
I know deploying second in this case is very good because it looks like you're streaming on your Morats versus Assassins.
Oh, is that what I did?
Yeah.
I thought I should have changed the title here.
Well, at least on live it doesn't look that way. But good topic though. I think last season the onus is really on going first when Alpha Strike is really at its peak. You could really leverage those untold however many orders you can fit into a list. The few times, although it is true, the few times that I lost was usually down to last turn, last round, being able to do something. But more often than not, usually I would have lost either to the Alpha Strike, putting me back on the back foot, or an almost Alpha Strike taking the initiative and preventing me from getting out.
Okay.
I don't know if the Alpha Strike has been mitigated at all with these 15 order minimums, but considering now we have a lot more NCOs and TAC aware, I don't think the Alpha Strike's really mitigated at all.
Yeah, I mean, you got to also, not to mention, there's more things that have like parachute deploy. I think it used to be, combat jump's just better as well, without the dispersion. There's I'm trying to think of something that didn't, it used to require a -3 but doesn't now, but I think I'm just thinking of the paramedics change where paramedics don't apply the -3. The Alpha Strike doesn't, as anything, it could be argued that it's even better. There's just less orders to maybe dump into it, into other things at the same time. But yeah, I've found for the most part that it's usually, because my buddy on the channel, Mike, the other day did it as well, and he deployed first but went second, and it didn't turn out good. And I think in general, it's probably a risky, shaky decision to be making.
Yeah, I really think the only thing that can mitigate Alpha Strike is simply mission structure in round by round scoring.
Sure. Yeah,
or multitude of objectives.
Go ahead.
I think it depends on how good the Alpha Strike does. Even with the mission, I mean, if you've lost too much, it's hard to come back from that.
Yeah. Well, funny enough,
if you're going second.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's I think that's where we were just mentioning, just kind of that missions that play turn by turn. Some folks will just basically say that can have a little bit more balance to it, where the turn order isn't so relevant to the win condition. You know, a lot of these missions where it's the end of game scoring, that last to act moment can be a win or a game breaking thing. You know, it can really be, or I wouldn't say game breaking, but very, very advantageous to be able to have that last to act, you know. Giving an advantage, and obviously balance would be the most even keel amount of advantage that we could have. I do like deployment zones to be a guess and going. I like first and second and the map to really do a good job at giving that to make that a hard choice. And that's been an interesting thing about these Infinity Leagues and just what's been going on over the last couple of weeks to call out real quick is, one, I just played a match today, a match yesterday. Been doing a lot of virtual tabletop simulator battles. Just did a first training session with Brad today on some tabletop simulator. That was pretty cool. But just joined up with, like, ODD is a tournament that is near to our area here in Northern Virginia. Played at Huzzah Hobbies typically, and this year is going to be offline, or not in person, and online. And so we just recently joined up for that to play that on Tabletop Simulator, and that'll be going on the 28th. I think people can still join that.
Yep.
It'll be going on through February. And then I just joined the Remote Access League Season 3 on the Infinity the Game Discord server. And I really like that server. The Infinity the Game server seems to have like pretty good-hearted folks there. You know, sometimes you can see kind of the dark side of our community as we argue about things and whatnot. And I've found there to be a pretty upbeat group of folks there that are happy to help one another learn the game and recognize it's a tough game to learn. So a lot of good advice going on around there. But I just played my first match today. I did a challenge match against Lucas. I'll call him just Perzan as his Discord name, and his last name is tough to say. But my friend from overseas, and it was great to get to meet him finally. I've seen him all across the internets, just being active inside the community, whether it's the painting side and the hobby side or helping people with questions. He's been watching our videos for a long time, so that was awesome. He gave it to me handedly. He brought the Assassins, and we were just talking about the whole go first, go second thing. Well, I chose to go first and tried to alpha strike, and we talked about how strong that alpha strike could be. And he did a very defensive Assassin's list that was extremely powerful, and I hadn't necessarily gone up against it yet. It was 4 Asawaras. He had a very powerful, like, 10-man core, combat group, and he just threw all his Daylamis. He took like four Daylamis and 2 Mudawais, I think. As his kind of like just defensive perimeter defense with the jammers, and he put these camo infiltrating Panzerfaust with these Daylamis all over the place, mixed in with the mine layer as well to just make another camo token to get intermixed with some of his other camo. And otherwise it was 4 Asawaras, one of them being a Harris, one of them being an Yara Haddad core link team. And his Harris, the Harris had an AP Spitfire with 2 doctors, and the other one was AP Spitfire with Yara and a Moyib heavy rocket launcher and a hacker, I think. But it was powerful. That Harris and that core were beefcakes. He locked me down with the Yaras, and then if I wanted to go anywhere that mattered, he had extremely good trade-up units in camo ready to. And that camo state was so nice for the 360 line of fire, because I was trying to come in with parachute deploy, but I couldn't get around his facing because of the camo state. Yep. Which was powerful. So I was trying to slam him with Raziat's, an excellent Rambo piece. It's parachute deploy, has combat jump. I had Evo hackers, could have jumped in on a 16, and have Eclipse grenades. And they're CC badasses, natural born warrior. They're ready to go back there and hurt something. But they're also just 1 wound in armor too. And if you mess up, it can be over quick. To accidentally mistake a camo token where it was actually a mine. I threw down some Eclipse grenades like, and it was a mine. I was like, no!
And the Asawir really don't care about your natural born warrior. They're not relying on their martial arts to do damage to you.
Yeah, and their armor 4, man, beefcake.
Yeah.
Yeah, and plus, that was really tough. I really found that challenging to go up against.
Monkey smack.
Yeah, he put me down hard, I gotta say. But we had fun, a great sport, good times, and just these last few games in general have been lessons, and trying to figure out where I need to tweak the mix of combat versus mission. is a lot of what Brad and I have talked about this afternoon, as far as, and then your and a lot of people I think wonder about this is just list building. Do you do 8-7 split, a 9-6 split? Do you go the 10-5 and refill? And it's all different. There's no 100% right answer in this game because it's play style and army.
Yeah, folks are still kind of experimenting with the different ways you can do it. I have heard a popular notion coming out is that you put the 5 orders as your defensive order pool. You put your Delamies there, you put your TR bots there, and then the 10 order pool is where you put your active pieces and active fire teams.
Yeah, I also like putting the like for combined. I've liked putting the Taigas in that second group, putting just like the irregular impetuous guys that are like chain rifles and are there to hug corners, But yeah, man, it was tough to. All those Delamies really got me thinking.
Yeah, Assassins are really in a good place where they can be really good on the defense and really buffer against that Alpha Strike, mostly because of how cheap those Delamies are. 6 points and no SWIT gets you that light shotgun Panzerfaust inferior infiltration. I'm sorry, not inferior infiltration, limited camouflage.
Yeah.
And you just throw those down wherever you want. And then they also have the new cosplay Noctifer, which is the I forget what the name of it is, the Nadir with their Flamen Spear. So I mean they can really handicap an Alpha Strike.
Yeah, Tanako, it's good to see you again, buddy. Thanks for tuning in. He says he likes the 8-7 with a lot of his lists. I've been attempting that a lot lately, and I'm starting to question myself because I feel like I'm definitely not executing it well. But with tactical awareness and Strategos, if you get like +1 lieutenant order in Strategos, so there's lots of ways to bolster that 8-7. Yeah. And I definitely like when it works, it feels really good. You feel like your orders almost never end. You're like, great, I got all these orders, and I still got all these other orders. Like sometimes that's how it feels when it's going good, but what's been happening to me lately is I'll lose a couple of the key. I've usually having like 5 of the 7 be oriented at just being cheerleaders, and there's like 2 main people in that group, and then those 2 guys will get wrecked somehow, and the other 5 are kind of left idle and not supporting anyone anymore. And it's I've been struggling with that. I was asking Brad, does he like doing like combat in one group and objective grabbers and specialists in the other, or do you do a mixed bag? And you said you like to evenly spread.
I've been doing the 9-6. The second group of 6 is just a core link and a refill, and that core link can be either offensive or defensive, and they can grab objectives, and then that group of 9 can grab objectives and kill.
Yeah, I like that concept of just having a six-man combat group that is basically a 5-man link and a refill, and that they're self-sufficient. They're both defense and offense hybrid, objective grabbers. That's a very independent and self-sufficient unit. I like that. Tanako, what I do with my 7 order pool is do coordinated orders to deal with links that are standing up. And my example is 2 Fort Observer Nokins and maybe a couple other stuff. I think coordinated orders are something that also is just like I haven't been touching near enough or effectively. There's a lot of different ways to attack this game, and I think there's some finesse with those coordinated orders that honestly I've been using my command tokens to fix mistakes, like reforming my link team, or moving guys around because somebody died. Maybe I do feel like I spend a lot of my command tokens moving guys between order pools.
Yeah. I think the past.
Yeah, I'd say it really depends kind of what you're playing too, because if you're not like the coordinated order things, if you play Caledonia Highlander Army, the fun way to play that with coordinated orders is to use the free coordinated that Inspiring Leadership gives you. Use the two T2 snipers and the missile launcher. I think it's changed for N4 now. I think the points changed, so it's harder to bring that list for those. But you coordinate those 3 against a single piece, and one of them is going to land. If it's the missile launcher, great. If it's all of them, the piece is going to die. If you're playing, you in the past have played a lot of TAC, which you generally want to get up close, so your coordinated isn't as, you generally haven't been using that as frequently. So if you put those longer range, really high damage pieces in your list and coordinate them against a single target, that target only AROs against one of them. So he's going to have to pick and choose. And two of them are probably going to hit. If you're unlucky like me sometimes, they all miss, and then one of them dies. And you try it again, and they beat you. So but when it does work, when it does work, it's awesome.
Yo, I totally forgot that Inspiring Leadership gives you a free coordinated order.
Once per turn. So
I'm so mad. I played 4
very
rounds.
useful.
I played 4 rounds with William Wallace and Cosmoflot in this Vol SC tournament, and I have not done that once. I'm pulling it up.
It depends. I mean, if you're bringing bears and dogs, I mean, you could use it to get them to move so that they only ARO against one of them. But if you have some long-range snipers, then why not go ahead and use that at least once? It's free.
Oh, yeah, it's free. Man, I feel like I've totally been missing. Watch my final round 5. I'm just gonna coordinated order all the time, and it's gonna be like so effective. Oh gosh, it's just funny, guys, because I stream games. Like I know how to play this well. And people tune in like, sweet, here's a great game, and then I get my ass kicked. So sometimes, not always. As my voice cracks. Oh man, it's been interesting. I've been getting the rules right though. Take that, world.
Hey, that's always good.
Yeah, as long as people can watch and learn, even if I'm getting my ass kicked, it's okay. They're still learning.
Exactly.
We can all learn together. Somebody's gonna buy me a beer one day. So their tactics are good, and sometimes it happens in the list building stage, and sometimes it's a lot more in the deployment. And I think looking for lanes and learning how to study a map is another very important part of the game. And sometimes it can be that can be one of the more frustrating ways to feel like you beat yourself almost, because it can happen right from the get-go. And one of the challenges I think I've found in these tabletop simulator matches is today, like I played on a beautiful MicroArt Studios board. It was featured all this awesome MicroArt Studio terrain that was featured by them. They inputted it into the virtual environment and worked hard to give us a really cool looking map. But it was made to look cool more than be extremely functional. And it was very tactical, very functional, but it was challenging to digest everything that's inside that environment. It's like when you're playing a tournament, you're really wanting to do your best, and sometimes when you feel like the map is almost like a third player almost, that you're trying to navigate and beat. And if you've had more experience like looking at that map and getting to hang out on it, you might find more nooks and crannies and paths to find than the other opponent. This particular map today, it had all these multiple levels and a lot of balconies and nooks and crannies, and it made it really challenging to be able to digest where everything was. You couldn't easily identify, okay, there's all your models. You'd have to really pay attention and could make some mistakes pretty easily. So that was a challenge I found.
An Infinity Battle is 3 things: your army, their army, and the table.
Yeah, definitely. I think before you play, if you can talk to, at least at a regular event, talk to the person who brought the table and at least figure out kind of how they recommend playing the board. There's a Hackaslam inspired table that was at ODD last year as well, the Baltimore Brawl.
Yeah.
There's a lot of open spaces that look like they could be played as just kind of shoot through. But the way that the creator recommended playing it, I don't know if that's how this board's played, is you shoot into and out of but not through these kind of overhang room type setups. We weren't playing that way, and if you're not playing with a bunch of long range pieces and you're trying to go up against them, it's brutally one-sided.
Yeah, that Hakazam table in particular, when you look at it on an initial run through, it looks like there's plenty of cover. There's plenty
Oh,
of
yeah.
corners. But then once you start getting on street level and you start moving your models around, you see like, wait, hold on. There's not actually any cover for like a 12-inch stretch. There's nothing for me to do. Yeah, I mean, you got to be careful with tables like that.
Yeah. You know, talk to your opponent first. It's always a good idea to kind of get on the same page with playing everything the same way. Try and think about what you might be doing, the type of cover you may encounter, and moving through buildings, because there's a lot of open space that you can move through. If you can shoot into but not through, then treat that as a solid object when you're walking around it. But it doesn't seem that way because there's just so much space.
Yeah, Infinity does technically have rules for shooting through buildings. It's a saturation zone, I think. Essentially -1 burst, -3 to shoot through. But the issue is when you have a lot of tables that have a lot of open windows, that's still a lot of arrows coming back at you. Definitely always get at a model's eye view for vantage points, for street level. Just kind of see where people can put models and where those sight lines will be. If you're seeing sight lines from a point that's just the entire board, you might want to rethink how some items are on that board.
Yeah, totally. Do you guys have a YouTube monitor or anything open? I actually have a bunch of footage from Baltimore Brawl that I've never shown before, and it has that Hakaslam board on it. If you're monitoring YouTube, you'll be able to see it.
I'm on YouTube.
Cool. I'm going to show it to the audience here. I got several.
Beautiful board.
Yeah, we'll see if I can find.
Definitely.
We'll see if I can find it. I have several GoPro shots walking around. I'm gonna hit play on this.
Yeah, it's a few years old. I remember the original Baltimore Brawl. I came there. It was there.
Yeah, it was definitely there. There's Brad's board right there.
Yeah.
Was that? Brad's board in back. Yeah.
Yep. This is my first satellite event. We talked about satellites and stuff last talk show. This is definitely far from it. I don't know why it's glitching. I'll move around a little bit. Ooh, these are pretty. This is this is in Baltimore, the Baltimore Brawl Classic tournament. If anybody's watching right now and wondering what that is, I'll re-narrate that. Oh yeah, I can see it.
This was a good board. I caught a Marauder Link team when they all tried to hide behind that tanker truck. They did hide behind the tanker truck.
I don't know why it's glitching around like that. That board is beautiful. I hit pause on it.
Yeah.
I like the Game Meta U terrain they used.
I played on that board.
Oh, cool.
That was fun.
I like this one. I like outdoor. You know, we always talk about Infinity. I mean, here at Battlegrounds, a lot of our boards are just endless warehouses, and I really like it.
A lot of boards are, yeah.
Yeah, I like when they're outside.
Yeah, so I played on that board at ODD last year, and it had a center. I think it was an objective room one, and that's a surprisingly difficult board to play on sometimes. Basically, there's no hard corners really, and if someone wants to Rambo in, you can get hit pretty hard.
Yeah. Oh, this is a terrain we have here at the shop that's been on our. Someone asked, did we have any Pano players?
We used to.
Yeah.
No, we're all good players.
Oh, come on, man.
Our buddy Mike, he plays military orders, but it's pretty light-handed. Well, also Joey, he's a player that's up and coming.
Yeah, he does.
He's playing
Varuna.
Varuna.
Yeah.
Yep. So we've not been able to feature very much Pano on the channel. Ooh, here's the Hakaslam board.
Yes. There.
Yeah, and Ross.
No, that's not it.
Oh, that wasn't the Hakaslam board?
Oh, there it is. Yep, that's it right there.
it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's coming over here. See if we get a good shot.
It's beautiful, man.
It is beautiful.
Yeah, he's got LEDs set up on it.
Was this what you were
It's
talking about?
pretty cool.
Oh, I see these rooms and stuff up
Yeah.
here. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, those blocks you need to treat as.
Yeah, these buildings are
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, and at ODD, it was basically a sniper tower on one side. It was similar, but yeah, that top tower over there, oof, man, getting through that with the courtyard in the middle, there was just basically giant lines of fire that were 30, 40 inches long, and
Yeah.
This
shot MSV2 sniper was basically like, I don't care about your army or smoke. So
you talking about this board right here? I remember. I think this is the one you played on where you put a sniper.
I played on that one.
Yeah,
I put a TR bot in the top tower, and
Yeah.
everything that came from his side of the board got TR botted.
played
He didn't
on
get
this
anything
table
out
the
of his
year
deployment
before.
zone.
I played on this table my first time going against the Avatar. I think I played on this table round 4, and we were both like really delirious, and I was wrecking him. I was doing such a good job.
Yeah,
But then
this is definitely not a great
great
board,
table.
but
Yeah.
with how low terrain is, you don't want sniper towers in the deployment zone because my
yeah.
TR bot, even at long range up there, I was hitting everything. I'm a TR bot. I was just
Yeah.
looking for crits, and that's what I was getting.
This was the table at the event that was the example of a bad table for sure. The ones that
Yeah.
you hear about, you might get matched up on a table that's very open and there's these lanes where there's no escape. I mean, you can just see right here this gray tower right in front of me. You can see even the one on the other side. It's symmetrical in that, but you can see everything.
Yeah, this was the tag mission, which I had the double Maggie list for. And I specifically decided not to use double Maggies because I had a TR bot in my other list. And I knew what a TR bot would do in that nest.
Yeah, that's what you said. You got to play the map, right?
And Maggie wouldn't fit up in the tower.
No.
No, Maggie would not fit in the tower.
Oh man, the Avatar player was funny because he baited me into killing his Avatar and then went into retreat and won. Classic George. I had a great time on this table. I played Ariadna versus Ariadna, attack versus tack. It was a war core from the area. That was awesome. We had a good time. Good time. Yeah, what's this game store called again?
This is Games and Stuff. Yeah.
Up in Maryland. Oh, that was Chris. Yeah, this is seeing all these people together and good times. My God.
I know,
the
man.
before times.
What is that? Well, look, there I am again.
See if I can load up one more. There we go. There's my this was my Baltimore Brawl list.
Yeah, I missed Baltimore Brawl this year.
That was cool.
Yeah.
I've been going to every one since it started. And this is the 1 year we couldn't go.
I was going to go to both ODD and Baltimore Brawl.
Yeah, I was too.
Oh, that guy was super nice. That was my round 1 opponent. He was a great guy. Oh, and there's the shitty board. Yeah. Good times.
Hey, look, there's a TR bot in that tower. Look at that. Look, tower, TR bot. Who would have thunk it?
Yeah.
Right behind his elbow. Those
the
towers are
Hakkasan.
not okay.
There's that beautiful Hakkasan board again. It does look great.
We're too scared to play actual Finny, at least in my minute.
That's
I don't want to say anything's broken, but the Avatar needs something. It's just, it's.
You mean it needs
really
something less?
It needs something less. Either lose its tack aware or lose lieutenant order because it's obscene.
They could just make it more.
Because
mean
the
it
usual
brings more orders?
tactic for killing Avatar lists is, just kill the cheerleaders. Well, you can go through 6 cheerleaders and it will still have 8 orders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not okay. Like, if you can kill the entire enemy army and it still has 5 orders to chew on, and which is perfectly enough to do things, that is a problem. That is a definitive problem.
And at least in N3, I mean, he had ODD, so a flamethrower could.
Yeah, you could flamethrower head off.
You could burn that off. It was always worth sacrificing a poor flamethrower guy.
Yeah, Tanaka, Oblivion's fine if his whip wasn't so high for reset and his BTS wasn't 9.
Yeah. He's pretty good at all those things. Yeah.
Yeah, he's really, really hard to deal with. I think EM weapons are the new good go-to, but I mean, you got to get your weapon there. Yeah, you got to get your EM weapon there, and his BTS is still high.
Yeah. It doesn't feel good. It's scary.
Basically, what you want is like a repeater where he's gonna walk, and then like a handful of hackers.
Yeah, a handful of hackers. That is true.
Or just a dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, or Wolf.
Yeah, but his CC still like 19 or something? It's still not terrible.
Yeah.
And the problem is one army has dogs.
Yeah.
No.
A lot of other armies, a lot of the war bands have.
Carmen. Rama's got Carmen, and
Carmen has a cube.
Yeah.
McDonald doesn't have
Monks
a
will
cube.
solve.
Monks
will solve a problem.
War band.
Yeah.
Yeah, monks could do it.
We were talking. Brad and I were talking.
They have
about
no cubes, so that's an advantage.
I love Yara Haddad, and one of the ways I fell in love with Yara was when I was shooting an avatar down with MSV2 through smoke. And that got it done. AP marksman rifle, that took down an avatar. Just a few shots, you know? Get a couple crits in there. Yara Haddad in a 5-man link against the avatar shooting through smoke is pretty effective with AP marksman. Granted, it's nice to have a little bit more damage on there. Oh, also K1. K1's a great way to say screw.
K1 is a great way.
Goodbye, Avatar.
K1 nowadays is just
Money.
so good.
Yeah.
K1 got a soft buff and it hasn't even been touched.
Yeah. Well, I guess it falls in the K1.
There's not a whole lot of K1 though.
There's not, unfortunately.
Well, that's when we started. I flipped out on that. What was it? Aleph that had a K1 sniper that was linkable. Even, maybe?
Yeah, Towser. No. Towser, but he's not linkable.
Yeah.
Not linkable.
But yeah, Towser with a K1 sniper, that's actually very viable now.
Yeah, it's nasty.
Like that's an actual discussion. Do I want to take the Feuerback or do I want to take the K1 sniper?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, depending on who you're up against. Yeah, I was going against 4 Asawaras today, and I would have liked some K1. I should have took my on.
Not good. Don't only Wabons have cubes?
Great.
I think they do.
Even if he gets cubed, though, they're an EM attack would still.
Yeah, but you're going to have an engineer who's going to take care of the EM attack, and now you've got an Oni Wabon.
Yeah, you get
Oh.
Sephiroth.
Yeah, it's not just a trade; it's a gain.
Yeah, they're like, oh, that's cute. Oh, no, I can't do anything. Hey, Dr. Worm, got work for you.
Nice. Oh, man. Yeah,
I think Oni Wabons lost their smoke, didn't they? I think now only the
I don't
character
think they had it.
Kitsune had. I thought they had smoke.
I thought it was only.
Or did Kitsune only ever have smoke?
It's
smoke.
Kitsune only.
Yeah.
Well, now
The,
I thought they
Oni
used to.
Wabon. No, they never did.
They never did.
Yeah,
Okay.
Because you always
Saito and Yojimbo is the only one that smokes.
and that's why when Saito had Specialist Operative, it was basically him and Kitsune because they both brought smoke, which made them super nice.
Gotcha.
I mean, Saito's still really great.
Oh, Saito's still really good. Yeah.
Objectives done, as well.
I mean, when your objective is murder, they get it done real good.
Yeah, that was funny. My mind is still toiling over conversation Brad and I were having about accomplishing the mission and just like how we're now in N4. Brad, you've been mentioning that you started taking less. It used to be like we take 5 to 7, take a large amount of specialists. If a mission needed specialists, you take a whole bunch of them. But now it seems like lists are becoming less specialist, and maybe you play the mission, you play the positional game, and killing maybe a majority of the turn, with a mission being a smaller fraction of the turn. Maybe more than it used to be.
Playstyle has changed a bit because bear in mind our meta brings a lot of just all-comers lists because a lot of us are just coming straight from work. We're not deciding on missions until we get there, and so we'll just throw a mission down, we'll pull out one of our all-comers lists and do the mission. I think now with all these new people and the fact that Brad, you're making lists per week or month or
I'm
making
making
missions per
all-comers
week
lists
or month.
and running them towards the mission.
Yeah,
running them.
and so building the list to the mission is a lot easier when you know your mission's coming in. And I think a lot of missions now don't need a lot of specialists.
Yeah, I'm finding 4, 5 maybe is a good point for me. Like,
Yeah, Eric, that's not how we've done it. We've always just been like, it's Thursday night, we're going to show up, we've got a pile of lists. This is the mission we're playing. Throw it down.
well, normally, we've had the tournaments every month. Well, in the past.
Usually we're playing the next month's tournament missions.
Yeah, but we're not pro players, so we never actually practiced our lists for tournaments. We always just screwed around and then figured out the tournament list like the week before. That's always how we've done it. Don't lie to yourselves.
Yeah, no,
I mean, that's
changed
fair.
my mind the week before.
You have always done that, Brad.
Yeah.
Auto played this shot. Nope, doesn't bring this shot. Brings no match.
Ross has changed his list the day before.
Yeah.
I do tons.
And his army.
I do
And
tons.
his army, that's true.
Well, I did that the first year. The first year I went to Baltimore, I practiced. Well, I still played the same army, but I was set on Bakunin lists for a month, and then 2 days before, it's like, man, I'm just gonna change these lists. I like these better. Never played them, but
Yeah, I like to do tons and tons of planning of what I think I'm going to do. And then when I get to the actual table, it all just goes out the window and I just charge my opponent.
Yeah, the problem I have is I've had a lot of customized minis, and I have the model, and I have the units that I really like, that I like to play. And that bit me in the butt real bad at last Baltimore Brawl, where my lists were decidedly not good for the missions and the tables I was playing on. Is just like, I needed infiltrators, I needed forward deployers. I'm like, but I didn't want to play any of those, so I didn't. And my singular win is a testament to that.
And that's all I got. and they were all good defeats too. I scared them all, bro. I scared them all, Zach. they were all so scared. Yeah, I was telling Brad that if it was just, I'm happy if when you hit turn 3, if you and your opponent don't necessarily know who's going to win yet. Like that's the benchmark of a good game. You get to turn 3 and nobody knows what's going to happen yet. And so that's what I'm striving to make my mission right now, is just to make it to turn 3 without anybody knowing who's going to win already. I think patience. That's what I think I've been struggling with and turn 1, setting up for turn 2 and 3 instead of trying to just do everything right out the bat. You know what I mean? I'm usually, like, if I have 2 parachutists, it's bring them both in. Not bring one in, save one for later. Hell, don't bring them in at all. Save them for turn 2. Really add that mystery in there. You know, who knows? I'm impatient, guys.
Yeah, I mean patience and not seeing red in the third turn is extremely important.
Yeah.
It's hard.
And it's definitely something that's hard to do.
It's just playing the same list for weeks on end, not even changing the list for each month's worth of missions. Just, I mean, I played the same list for 3 or 4 months when I was playing OSS. Granted, you could kind of do that with OSS because it's snipers, HMGs, robots that move 6'4",
Yeah.
3, what are they called? Proxies. I mean, that was before they cost more. But it was like, sure, I'll always have a proxy engineer and the T2 sniper with hidden deployment and the forward observer, because, I mean, it's like, I don't know, it was like 50 or 60 points. And then a full core of Dakini with a sniper and HMG and 2 paramedics. That's your core. And
my 3 Azura Harris was really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really
it
expensive,
painful, actually.
But it was painful.
Dude, it was hard to take those guys down. It's like, well, I don't have a hacker to really do anything with.
I was like, well, I've got a hacker. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but I'm also BTS 6 and Whip 15. Come at me, brah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Nice. The
Mark II.
Yeah, Mark II losing its hidden deployment. I'm kind of sad about that.
Oh, wow, that's a big change.
Yeah, it's now an ODD marker, essentially.
Oh, really?
So it's just a gamma marker. It's still got
gamma marker, but
marker
mimetism -6. Interesting.
Yeah. So it's no longer hidden TO, or what was TO. So.
Interesting.
Yeah. It was too good,
It was good. It was good.
And I think the Mark V proxy is now half a SWIC. I don't think it was a SWIC before.
Is that the forward observer one with dual submachine guns? Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
EM grenades. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is he still like 10 points though?
Oh, it was definitely oppressive. I think it's 13 points now. So it went up a couple points.
Okay.
that sounds affordable.
Yeah.
Oh, it's affordable. Yeah, and I think it's got no wound incapacitation.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So
All the proxies do.
all of them do.
Dang.
I mean, when you're not enslaved to your meat suit, you don't care what happens to the meat suit.
That's pretty awesome.
Pretty much.
Apparently, Aleph is on the docket for the next January Army Pack. Is that what I heard?
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yep. They're getting a couple things. I don't remember what's in the packet, but they looked pretty cool.
What is it?
The
Is
stuff
it-
that
What is it?
was in Cold Front and
Oh.
Beyond Cold Front, I think.
Oh, I thought it was.
It's where they okay. They're combining the 2-player army box into a
Yeah.
Oh, the army pack. Yeah.
pack. Yeah.
So
I don't think
it-
they're getting new stuff. They're just
It's not anything
reboxing
new.
it.
This is good though, right? Because isn't Aleph a little bit like not on the production block, or like obviously they are, but was there?
No,
They're full
they
on.
They just
killed.
don't really need anything. They're getting new Naga sculpts.
Yeah, they
for,
really
either
don't.
February. I think they're getting
I
new
think
Naga
it's
sculpts in
February.
February.
That's great.
Yeah, but I mean, their models are really good, and OSS just came out last year?
Steel
Couple
Phalanx
years ago?
is still available to get all the models for their.
Well,
Steel Phalanx, new.
Steel Phalanx is out of print.
okay,
yeah, they're out
so,
of print.
I thought one of them was out of print.
Yeah.
Steel Phalanx.
Yeah. I don't think Eric. I don't think they're gonna do a Nomad Aleph Adepticon release or not Adepticon release.
Aw.
It might be. It'll probably be Corregidor. I don't even know who else. Corregidor Toha.
No.
I want Toha.
No.
Have the salt flow.
Something is due for Code One. Have you guys? It's funny because I mean, mainly the people I play are playing Hakaslam, and I study Hakaslam as well. Oops, wrong button. But a lot of the public opinion seems to be that Nomads are the kings of the castle as far as one of the strongest factions of N4 currently. Is that something you guys have, thought about or just seen people saying?
Nomads have always been strong simply because they have such a huge toolbox. The
Yeah.
more tools you have available for a mission, the better you're going to be.
I mean, I'd say Vanilla Nomads just has everything you could possibly
Yeah.
want. Good skirmishers, good war bands, really
good still
great
at fives,
hackers,
good tags, yeah.
big guns, lots of tags. I mean,
Yeah, the geckos are pretty
Yeah.
badass, right?
Yeah. Like the vanilla nomads are very strong.
Right.
And again, yeah, that just comes from their tools.
yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, they were
I
supposed
don't,
to
I don't
bring
think that's
out
changed at all.
2 new armies for Code 1, but that could have changed because of the pandemic.
Well, I don't think they've ever announced when they're going to be coming out with the 2 new armies. They just said,
Well,
it'll
fair.
happen eventually.
They said they will be coming out with.
Yeah, eventually, yeah. What do they have currently? It's Yujing, Pano, Combined Army, and
012.
012.
Oh, 012, that's right.
Yeah.
012,
I can see
yeah.
Aleph being brought
It'll
in.
probably be LF and Ariadne
prob-
because they've done Hakaslam.
Probably not. I could probably see Hakazam and Nomads, to be honest.
Code 1, no sectorials.
Yeah, I could see that.
That's
Although
cool.
with them wanting to get the bear sculpt out, it would make sense Cosmofloat and Corregidor, because Corregidor kind of needs a bit of love when it comes to the starter box.
Yearly around Adepticon was the plan 10 months ago. It said, who knows now, especially with the actual convention canceled. Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That is crazy that Adepticon, that really messed up last year's release schedule for a lot of companies, is there is always these big reveals, at these events. So I guess besides Adepticon, there's hoping for, Nova Open. It's usually Adepticon and Nova are my big go-tos. You guys,
Well, Gen Con is
Con,
when they do
yeah.
a big release, too.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
doubt-
Gen Con's
I
usually
doubt
the
Gen
let's
Con
look.
is gonna
I-
come.
Definitely.
Well, bear in mind for Gen Con, they did their own release video schedule for it. I mean,
Yeah.
they're not afraid of simply holding a Infinity Week themselves in house and releasing information.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll do something like that for Adepticon, too. It's their spring release and then their late summer release right before, what is it, the Worlds or whatever that happens, which isn't going to
Yeah.
happen probably.
No, it's
Yeah,
already
it's not
canceled. It's not
Oh,
happening.
it's already canceled?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
damn.
Yeah, there's no satellites this year or this season.
yeah.
Okay, well, yeah. So they don't have a timeline now. They can kind of push it to whenever.
Yeah.
Hopefully Nova Open
I mean,
will happen this year. But
2021 is sort of the year that will happen as a consequence of 2020. I don't think we're going to see a lot of big events. I think we're just going to see events as lockdowns come off.
yeah.
which hopefully, in the next 3-4 months, that'll start happening with the release of the vaccine quicker and quicker. But I mean, we're just not going to have any major events, which I think is fine, to be honest. I think just having a chill year, maybe let Corvus Belly just catch up on their own shit and stop coming out with new shit. Please just stop, take a chill pill, get your stuff in order, and then maybe next year and come back to the ridiculous amount of sectorals you want to release.
Yeah, fair. And hey, there's at least Tabletop Simulator. I know it's not for everybody, but you can still play in events. I'm in 3 global tournaments right now, and you can get your ass kicked just like real life.
That is true. I did try a Tabletop Simulator event. But again, I do a lot of custom paint jobs and works on my models that I just feel really down playing Tabletop Simulator. Like, I spent hours and hours on these models and they're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Yep.
I hear you. It's definitely better to play in real life for sure. It's very satisfying, but we can get some games on.
I'm glad it is keeping the community involved. I'm glad it's getting folks interested in Infinity, because I know it is pulling in new folks.
Yeah.
Even with TTS, it's bringing new folks in. It's making people interested in the game. So I will not begrudge to TTS at all, even though I don't like it, simply because it is doing what we need.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very fair. Yeah, I mean, it is what we got. Let's see. So we got about 15. Trying to think of some other things that have been popping up in the old noggin. Oh yeah, I was just remembered how much we were mentioning snipers and that badass Aleph sniper. I'm excited for it. I really love Aleph, and those proxies being no wound in cap, that makes me more interested than I've ever been. But I really got wrecked by the Hido sniper. I played White Company in my most recent battle with Cosmoflot, and I thought I was going to do pretty good. Turn 1, I scored my 2 points. I dominated more quadrants, on turn 1, played Supremacy. Turn 2, turned around pretty quick.
Yeah. The hideout was nice. I mean,
He was really nice.
A light heavy infantry BS-13 MSV2 model.
Linkable.
Yeah.
Linkable. There's value there. Not going unconscious. Like, I'd say it's that one little tiny notch slightly better than what's the Varuna one?
I don't know about that.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not better. But 2 sort of wounds.
Yeah.
I mean, it's more survivable per se, in that it's up longer and then keeps shooting and then just drop.
As Ariadne, Ariadne, you pay attention to the MSV2 and you don't forget it when you're playing Ariadne. And
I think we did. Yeah, I think we did Norfolk back in February as the last event before lockdown. March was that?
It was the week, it was the week.
Yeah, it was the week before lockdown. Yeah, Lewis took what is it? Invincible Army, and had that hideout sniper. While the hideout sniper didn't do a lot, its presence made me had to go around it, and it ruined a lot of strategies simply because I knew I couldn't face it because of the MSV2. Good armor, good ballistic skill, but also getting around it was very difficult because it has a link team covering its back.
Yeah.
Yep. And armor 3 of it, there's value with that now, especially without trying to crit it off the board.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was tough. I just noticed it had 0G as well, which gave me flashbacks to playing Power Pack versus Brad, and that was a really rough time as well. That one has I was surprised in Power Pack with the the decompression zones you put out. I didn't realize, I thought it was 2. I didn't think that it was 2 per player. You put 4 of these circular templates out on the board, and they count as difficult terrain 0G.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so
does the terrain total still works through those, right?
Terrain total or 0G?
Yeah, terrain total.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I didn't know if you had to have 0G only, even though total would include that.
Yeah, it gets tricky because because you have the split deployment zones plus those pieces. So already people are placed in kind of, they can't be spread across the board as comfortably as they might usually be. So while they're kind of funneled into the left and right corners of the board, you can also make it even more tricky to move by putting these decompression zones down. And based on who goes first and second dictates the order that the decompression zones go onto the table. And sometimes that can be like, you can place yours first and then the other opponent like doubles up on that and makes it a really difficult zone to move through. And you're like, no, that's not what I meant. So it's a weird mission, Power Pack.
Yeah.
It's tricky. There's a lot to do. It's turn-by-turn scoring and in-game scoring. And that reminds me of a lesson that Brad has taught me that I've been thinking about more, and that is with the new tournament scoring. That it's not necessarily, you don't have to necessarily go for these massive victory differences like you used to. You really just need to win and get 5 points. That's it. You don't need to get all 8, or you don't have to have this huge
Well, hell,
gap.
I mean, if you win 3-1,
That's still gravy, yeah.
it's-
In the olden days, did you not used to get an N3? Did you not used to get tournament points if you got a win?
So if you were to win by, what is it, 4?
5 or more victory points.
5 or
It's
more
5 or
victory
more.
points, you
Yeah.
got 3 tournament points or whatever.
But if you just won, what'd
if
you get?
won,
You got 2.
one.
If you got a draw, you got 1.
well, yeah,
If you got a loss, you got 0.
Okay.
yeah.
So you get more points than you used to ever before. So really just winning. And that's what we talked about earlier about the whole not bringing as many specialists, not putting as much attention in the mission on solely accomplishing the mission. You have to kill some shit. You got to get some positional advantage. Otherwise, you know, if you play, I think if you play the mission too much, you may not have, you don't have as many resources as you used to be able to, being that you have to only have 15 orders. And yeah, I just think it's an interesting dynamic.
Yeah, I think there's a lot more onus on the player that if they are good, they'll probably get some kind of victory points from a loss. And I think it's going to really help differentiate those people who are getting 0 because they're really not playing the mission versus the people getting 1 or 2 victory points because they're really playing the mission. They're really going after their opponent. And so they should have a higher state of a loss. To put those people who try together and the real losers together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's good.
Yeah, I mean, if you get 10-0'd versus someone who lost, 6-5, I feel that, all that effort you put into those 5 points should, I mean, it's not like, give out participation trophies for people, but you played in the mission, you probably came really close to beating the person, but something just didn't go your way at some point in the game. Could have been that last roll, and they got maybe one more console, or they moved into one zone and beat you by a couple of points. But I think you've got people who they win, and then they lose, but they're really close. It will bring them up, and it still shows the skill of the player. They'll end up pointing higher, because what I hear a lot of is the last 2 people will play a game, and it's a really close game, but because what would have been like the number 2 player ends up being like 10th
4th
or 9th or 8th or 4th or something, because they got no points for getting close to winning.
Yeah.
So now you have a chance of the top table at the end of the tournament still being the top table.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, like a mission like Power Pack, it has 3 points dedicated to turn-by-turn scoring, but everything else is, all throughout the game or at the end of the game. And like sometimes it's good because you don't need these major victory point differences, you just want that win, or you want that 5 points plus win, then there's certain points that you can choose to not go for and still be fine as far as your tournament ranking. So like that very first turn, like I tried to do too much too quickly, and I tried to do the turn-by-turn scoring and go deep behind enemy lines to touch the Power Pack console. But maybe on turn 1, it's not let that point go away. You don't need every single point. If positional and getting points later, you may have less points, but you take the victory from it. It's a better move. So I'm trying to think about that a little bit more, as far as I only need 5 to get my max score and a win, or even just winning is still a solid tournament score.
You don't need 10 to win.
Right. You don't need 10 to win.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you make desperate moves for points that don't matter when you could have done better in the long run, you know? Especially with those hybrid missions of turn-by-turn scoring and in-game combined. Maybe in your list building stage, you're only trying to accomplish half the mission, but it achieves all the points you need, you know? Yeah, just little things I've been trying to think about. But again, get to the table, go for the charge, kill, kill, kill.
Yeah, figuring out that balance between kill, 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 and get the mission done can definitely be a skill unto its own.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
For sure.
Hey man, it's taken me like what, 4.5 years to.
You're cool. You're cool as a cucumber, Brad.
Man, I still go for the cinematic. I'm like, man, this is not going to get the mission done, but it's going to be so cool.
I know.
That's
Right?
what I've given
And then lo
up
and behold,
on.
I failed the mission. I'm like, yep, I saw that coming.
Yeah.
But what if I crit you? That's what I. That's what I find.
Crits aren't guaranteed anymore.
I
So
find myself
don't go
saying
for that pistol crit.
Yeah.
Can't just throw my Korji Spitfire at something and make it go away now.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Although honestly, when I played you, you just didn't crit that much with those ones. I don't know why.
The entire Baltimore Brawl, I ran him active for the majority of the entire game. He never crit the entire Baltimore Brawl.
Oh.
2 numbers on the dice to choose from. He'd roll 2, and whatever number was less than needed to crit. I'm like, I hate you so much. You're such a cool looking model, but I hate you so much right now.
Which
Pretty
which
much.
He
one
got
was-
crit by a hard case 3
Quaritch.
times in a row.
So speaking of quarries,
Wow.
like, what about what do you think, Zach, about Tariq? I find myself not liking Tariq as much anymore without fatality level 2.
I mean, he's not bad. I mean, he's a damage 16 Spitfire. He's
Yeah.
he's
Fair.
LT level 2. I mean, he's got his place. I was never a huge fan of him to begin with, simply because he's big, he's difficult to maneuver with, and he's not much better than a normal Quaritch Spitfire.
For a lot
so,
less
I mean,
points, right?
Yeah, for a
Multiple
lot
wounds,
less
though,
points.
right?
He's 2 wounds instead of 1, yeah. But he also doesn't have bioimmunity anymore, so he can't take
Oh.
advantage of that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's hard to swallow. Like I have a
Yeah.
hard time bringing him in.
He's really cool. He's got some cool rules, but I'm not a huge fan of big expensive characters.
Yeah.
And Tanaka makes a good point. I mean, like, I am okay with them getting rid of fatality level 2. And Tanaka says it was a bit of a negative play experience. You know, the whole ones critting people didn't feel great.
Yeah, Fat 2 was a bit of a negative play experience. To be fair, I did not like the crit system as it was to begin with.
That's true.
So
too.
when I
Right.
took advantage of it using Sheskin and my Quaritch, it didn't feel good, but it did, but it didn't. It was a very mixed bag of feelings. Like, boy, I am blowing you off the table, but it's not really my fault. It's these dice and the fact I get 2 numbers to crit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty much.
I was like, oh no, I rolled a 1. Oh wait.
Yeah, it's just like, it's like I got my TR bot. It's like, oh man, I'm hitting on 11s. It's like I roll 3 9s and a 10. It's like, oh, I rolled a 1. And
I rolled a
man,
1.
Get out of Dodge.
Get off the
Like-
board.
like,
Yeah.
I want to
Pretty
throw
much.
this model. Like,
I mean, I think Quaritch losing Fat 2, though, and getting a whole bucket of new skills, they have traded up for sure.
oh yeah.
All of them having Natural Born Warrior and Bioimmunity.
Did they gain bioimmunity or did they already have it?
They kept it. They had Bioimmunity
Oh, but
before,
it's changed.
but they got a buff because it changed.
Yeah.
What's their
And the fact
what's
they got
their
2
armor-
extra CC and Natural Born Warrior is good.
BTS is
What's
3.
their-
3, BTS 3.
Okay. All right.
Their
so they're
armor
always armor
2,
3, BTS 3.
yeah. Armor
Yeah,
2,
okay.
BTS 3.
So you're
Okay.
you're Kawarji all day over a Tariq then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the points. Yeah, I guess the only
Yeah.
the only negative is they're one wound.
Yeah,
but-
they're 1 wound.
So I was just looking
But
at
I
You're
mean-
playing Hawk. I mean, you got doctors that
You got
want
doctors out the butt.
17s, 18s.
I was sad that the
Yeah,
doctor,
they got
I think,
the
lost his
Quaritch
grenade.
Doctor plus 3, which I
Yeah.
mean, what are they? What's their whip? 14? Yeah, they're
Yeah,
on
14.
17. That's it's not guaranteed, but it's pretty darn close.
Man,
He's only failed his roll like once or twice, but Ramal has cubes, so
this Kawaj with the NCO and MSV2 is pretty sexy. MK12
yeah,
and MSV2.
MK12 with +1 damage. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
to
that's
damage
pretty-
16.
That's pretty sick.
Let's see. Yeah, they've got
that new?
oh yeah, they got immunity
Yeah.
shock now. They all have BS attack +1 damage.
Oh, they're shock immune now.
Yeah, they're shock immune and bioimmune. Yeah, their points overall
cool.
have remained the same. They've just got multiple stuff. So we've got NCO multi-special visor level 2, damage 16, mark 12. We've got a damage 15 shock Spitfire, chain of command.
Okay.
Oh nope, Dr. Tech.
Bioimmunity. It doesn't, like, unless there's a counteractive rule against bioimmunity, having bioimmunity doesn't really make sense. Just make the model 3 armor, 3 BTS.
Well,
Right?
it gets rid of, like, if it's a normal roll AP or something like that. It gets
Yeah.
rid of the AP factor. Switching the damage type,
Okay,
rid of the
Okay.
damage modifier.
that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see your point then. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, then I feel like, well, yeah, okay, that's fair. It makes more
Yeah.
sense now then. I never thought about that aspect.
I don't like how it's worded and works because I feel like it's really clunky. But I see its use. And yeah, Core Eater Armor 1 BTS 3, so it really buffs them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, 10% more successes. So
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that.
Oh, and all their CC weapons are AP plus shock. Okay.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. Yeah, Eric agrees. Very clunky.
Yeah. And they got nerfed with the super jump nerf, which
I don't
Also,
like. Yeah, I can't say that I
very
love the super jump. Did we ever? Why? What was?
Yeah.
I don't know why they did that to super jump. I never.
I don't know. I use super jump a lot. And
I
now I
think,
can't use it all in the same way that I used to use
I
it.
think the
Yeah.
whole jump up and then shoot from the middle of the air, I think that they didn't like the way that felt, but
They already
they did
fact it
was-
though. Like they had it all fact. The rule for the fact came into this edition where if you're being shot at from your front,
Yeah.
whether you can see it or not, you can still shoot back. That fixed the issue. I
think it was this that the fact that they had the FAQ that made it like weird or clunky.
No,
So they were
I
just
think
like-
it's because of the fall damage aspect. Because Super Jump
Yeah.
ignored fall damage to a certain state. Can't say, oh, it ignores fall damage. There's no such thing as fall damage. So
Well, you're not.
how are
allowed,
they
you're,
going to word
there,
it?
there is fall damage. You're just right. You're just not allowed to purposefully do it.
Not
Is that-
anymore.
No, there is no fall
think
damage.
they got
Not
rid
at
of
all.
Fall damage.
Yeah,
Oh.
fall
If
damage
they
is gone
can't
now.
get to they
It
can't
just
get to
doesn't
their
happen.
target, it just doesn't happen.
Just doesn't
Yeah.
happen. Yeah.
They
Right.
rubber band back to where they were.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
It's
So
just like super jump for its uses of jumping up over things now can't really happen for most models. So
yeah.
I mean, like, I don't. That was the whole. That's what I thought was great about. I mean, I feel like they should have said, okay, super jump works how it does. You can jump up, do crazy maneuvers, but you can't shoot while you super jump.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the amount of times I was super jumping and shooting or super jumping my doctor to get to someone who I needed to revive it is a lot. It's a lot of times that I did that. I used super jump quite a bit for my maneuverability.
Yeah, I miss it. I
Yeah.
liked it a lot. My Dog Warriors. Do you guys think that a FAQ is inbound at any point? There's definitely some things that people got questions on. I mean, how do we
I
get
mean,
so many
maybe
FAQs?
FAQ to clear up just general questions. They may do that, but they're historically pretty slow at FAQs.
Yeah.
Really? There's
At least
We,
in
we saw,
S3,
we
I
saw
mean.
an influx of modifications to the rules document early on, but I think as time goes on and things sort of settle, there's going to be less FAQs and less modifications of the rules document.
Have you
I
guys
think
seen
that,
the?
and that was what they said when they did this new living rules document is that they want to just basically make that the source of truth. So what we will see is that has been changed. Although, is there a change log with it to say, hey, this changed?
I don't think there is, and I think that's what a lot of folks are asking for is a change log.
Yeah.
If you make a change and no one sees it in the woods, did it happen?
Does a change actually happen?
Like a whole tournament happens and no one saw your one rules change the week before because no one's scouring the PDF document.
That'd be
Yeah.
nice if they did that. Yeah. Just quick question before we close out. But have you guys seen on the Corvus Belly forum where they have like the provisional rules answer, and it's like an FAQ? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
What is that? Is that done by somebody from Corvus Belly? It seems like there's
Yeah.
like it's like an official answer, right?
Yeah, it's Heloise and I don't know who it is.
ICQ or IJW?
IJW, yeah. IJW.
And,
Yeah.
and IJW isn't an employee, but is someone who has been working with them forever, I think.
Yeah,
So
I
they
think
get-
IJW works with Heloise, but is not an official Corvus Belly
Yeah,
Right.
Eric
employee.
says
But he
he's on-
still speaks with authority.
Yeah, on the rules.
Oh, he's on the rules team.
Oh, he's on the rules team. Okay. Never mind then.
So I
Yeah.
haven't digested all these, but I've found that there's like sometimes people point to those like that's the answer to this question. You know, like there's certain things
It
that
is
have
an answer because it's an explanation by a official representative of the rules team, really.
So yes, I want to
Yeah.
I want to dive through that. I think there's some good reading in there for sure. He does the wiki support, they say. So yeah, I'm gonna definitely be searching and reading and seeing if I can find any golden nuggets in the provisional rules answers. But I just Googled it for anybody that's curious. Provisional rules answer Corvus Belly. It'll come right up with some different forums there. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
check those stuff out. I think that's pretty interesting. That's the best thing we have right now to a FAQ or an explanation to things that we're wondering about. And perhaps we can ask in those forums more questions that we might have and get them answered. But yeah, guys, it's been an hour and it's been a good time. And we have managed to enjoy talking about the wonderful game of Infinity without a plan. Eric says IJW goes by what the rules say and not what we think they say. Pending Corvus Belly's changing the thing. Nice. Yeah, I look forward to reading some of those and getting to know IJW through his post. But anyways, more to come. I think Brad and I are either going to practice Tabletop Simulator tomorrow. We might play a game. We're probably just going to practice Tabletop Simulator.
Depends on how
We'll see how it goes.
the Wi-Fi runs.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, that's not too bad. Once you get a game under your belt, it comes second hat. It's not difficult.
Yeah. Berserk's a classic example. Eric, appreciate you. Appreciate everybody that tuned in. And we will see you with another talk show the week after next, bi-weekly. Not next week, but the week after that. And this is episode 7. Episode 8 is coming. And hope to see you guys more soon. Keep taking fun seriously, and we'll catch you next time.